Like, I hate to break it to you, but we are halfway through the year. It is the end of June. And I wanted to show you everything that I made in the last 6 months. The speed at which the year is going by this year is really, really terrifying to me. I feel like I'm finally getting to that age where time is flying by. Especially when I look back to this time last year, I'm pretty sure I started my YouTube channel around this time. Maybe a bit later, let me check. I posted my first YouTube video on the 16th of July, so that is pretty much a year ago, which is mental. Absolutely mental. And here we are again. I have a lot of projects to show you. The difference this year is that I documented pretty much everything that I made on my YouTube and TikTok. So for some of you who may have been watching my videos, this might not be new stuff, but I do always like reflecting on it and looking back on all the things that I've made. And we're going to do that together today. These are all the things that we're going to run through today. They're not the only things that I made this year, but these are the things that I still own. There are a lot of bits as well that I sold or gave away. I'll still mention those. I'll try and add some photos and videos in so you can see them. But yeah, those are the things that I've still got, so I can actually try them on and show them to you guys. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. At the start of the year, I set myself the goal to work on my whips. I think I worked on them for the first 3 months of the year, and then I abandoned that because it's so boring. I didn't enjoy it. But I did finish 2 whips in January. The first one is this super, super long scarf. It is like really, really long. I do really like all the different stripes and the colors. It's just like an acrylic yarn that my brother got me for Christmas one year. Generally, I love big, chunky scarves, but in hindsight, I might have gone a little bit too crazy with this one because it is so heavy. By the time I've wrapped it around twice, I feel like I'm suffocating. So I just went a bit too long. Because I did everything in like a normal stockinette, the sides really curl in quite a lot, and it just means that it sits really like heavy and tight around the neck. So I actually put this back into my whips because I think once I get a ribber for my knitting machine, which I don't know when that will be, but I'm hoping to get one at some point, I'm going to unravel this and I'm going to make a ribbed scarf instead with this like color design, and I might take one colorway out. I just think it will be a lot more wearable that way. But in terms of colors and stripe design, I love this so much. Then the next whip I worked on is this cardigan. It originally was way too short. You can see on the inside, this is where it was when I first made it, and then in January I added all of this on, so it was just a bit longer and more wearable, because the way that it was before, it was just way too cropped. This is all made out of secondhand mohair, so it's nice and fuzzy. And again, gotta love a stripe. The only thing is, at the time when I made this, I didn't really know much about cardigan construction, and I was very much just freehanding everything. So the way that this is fitted, it just kind of falls off my shoulders quite a lot. So some people actually recommended that I add a nice bow at the front so I can keep it shut. It's not like that's a really hard or time-consuming fix, but I just haven't gotten around to doing it. So it's kind of just been sitting around, again, not really been using it, and put it back into my whips pile for the time when I feel like adding a bow. But yeah, that will just help it kind of stay together a little bit more. But maybe autumn, winter time, I'll get it back out because this is way too hot and fuzzy for the summer. Then February was a super busy month, and I started with a crochet flower vest, which I made for Valentine's Day. This is what it looks like. I actually haven't gotten this out or looked at it like since I made it, but yeah, it actually turned out so cute. I will try it on for you. This is how it looks. It's just a cute little throw-on cardie. I think I actually remember I wanted to amend this, yeah, because the gap here I think is too big, so I need to make 2 more to really fit this better. But again, haven't done that. Are we seeing a pattern of me not wanting to amend things once they're done? It's very much out of sight, out of mind. A project is finished, I'm not going to touch it again. But this is very sweet. This looks so cute with my t-shirt underneath as well. Again, obviously this took a really long time, but I really enjoy making these like repetitive granny square projects. I think they're just really fun, and once you like familiarize with the a granny square pattern and you've made a lot of them, it's almost like you don't really have to focus on it. So these projects are great if you want to be watching TV or movies in the background, because you don't have to focus on this too much. I also was very clever and I was weaving in the ends as I went. So when the project was finished, I still had to weave in like the final ends, but everything else with all the different color changes, that was done, which is so good, because with previous projects where I've made something similar like that, the weaving in process was what probably took me the longest out of everything. Then the next thing I made was this bow cardigan. It was inspired by a project that I made before, but I kind of changed it up a little bit to turn into this oversized vest, and I added these lace bow at the front. They're not functional, they're just like added on. You can see at the back, there's no way to undo them, but I thought this was so cute as well. It's super chunky, so it's a good like thing to wear for transitional periods. Like I said, super chunky, super oversized, just very relaxed and cozy. I want to say I used the leader of the pack yarn from Hobbycraft in their grey. Anything fuzzy you see like this is most probably this kind of yarn. Then I made a couple headwear accessories. I also made a hat, but I can't find it anywhere, so I'll try and add a photo. But I made this little headband and I haven't worn it at all. I love the colorway and I love that this was all knit in garter stitch. It's definitely a stitch that I don't utilize enough because I do really like it and it looks so cool when you're working with stripes. I haven't worn this like at all because it's just not, I'm not a headband kind of person. I thought this would change my mind, but it doesn't work for me personally. I think this would look so cute as like an ear warmer, maybe in the winter. I don't know, this looks silly to me. I don't know what's going on, not a big fan. But yeah, and then I also made that hat, which I was so sure that I kept it. I can't find it now and it's summertime, so I'll probably hid it somewhere until winter comes around. In February, I also made probably the best thing that I made all year, and it is this Scoodie. This is the exact one that I made for the first time and I kept it. I don't even know how many I've made of these over the last few months, but I made them available to buy on my shop as well. So I made a ton in like different colorways as well. I made a red one and a green one, and I have also done some commissioned ones in other colors. Probably my favorite project from the entire year so far, and I am planning to make them available again for the upcoming autumn winter season. And I really want to make them available in more different colorways, because the commissions that have come through, like they had some really good color like ideas, and I'm hoping, I don't know how this is going to work yet, but I'm hoping to make them customizable when you're buying them, so that you can choose like the two colors that you want. So the beige will always be there, but you can change the black for a different color and the blue for a different color. I need to figure out how I can do that with my website developing tool, but that could be really cool. I did also make the pattern available in a TikTok and Instagram video in the like bios or in the descriptions. Then a couple of things that I made in Feb that I don't have on me anymore. One of them was a like purple vest that I gave to my mum, and I really enjoyed making that. I wanted to find like a good vest pattern. I've made like sweater vests before and I just never was that happy with the fit, but that one was so good. I really liked that. I also really liked the yarn that I used for that, and I've used it for another project as well, so I'll try and link that as well. I'm just saying that to remind myself when I'm editing to make a note. I'm gonna tag all these things. If I haven't linked anything in the description box or you want to know anything, then just leave me a comment and I'll just send it to you there. Then the last thing I made in Feb was a commission for one of my maxi dresses, and that was really nice as well. It was like a pastel-y, very spring vibe dress, and I just, yeah, you can never go wrong with them. I really like doing them. It's quite an easy and satisfying process to do on the knitting machine, which the knitting machine can sometimes annoy me a little bit, but yeah, that one was a nice little project as well. Then coming into March, it's getting a little bit less productive. I think now looking back, Feb was such a busy month. It's almost no wonder that I slacked off a little bit after that. March and April were definitely less busy, and then May was a complete stop for me. But this is why I really enjoy doing these videos, because it helps me reflect back on what I've done as well and just realize sort of the cause and effect these projects have had on my productivity, really. But yeah, in March I did another whip, and it was this granny square vest, which originally when I first started this project was meant to be a cardigan, but I ended up using this like peachy yarn for something else, so I didn't have it anymore, and I just decided to turn it into a vest instead. And this is how it turned out. It's really nice and chunky again and like oversized. I just don't think this color works for me. I don't know what I was thinking when I first made this and picked up this color. I should have known better really to pick up a color like this, but I still really like the like fuzziness of it. I think usually I always make my granny squares with cotton or acrylic, so this was a nice change. But yeah, I'm not really sure what to do with this now. What do you guys do with your projects that you don't wear? Because I've sold a few of mine, but then like some of them I just don't really feel like they can be sold. I don't know, do you donate them? Obviously you can frog your projects as well, but I feel like I can't frog this because the mohair is so like stiff. It's gonna take me days to unravel all of this. Then I was very lucky and Wool and the Gang sent me one of their knitting kits, and they sent me this neckerchief scarf. It's so hard to try these on when I have my mic on. Let me try and move it. All right, I'll just clip it on there. Yeah, they sent me this and it couldn't have come at a better time because I went to visit home and this was the perfect little project to do as I was traveling, and I was on the plane, on buses and trains, and I really love it. Like, this is so nice. The yarn is super soft, which was a pleasant surprise. I just know I will get so much more wear out of this when actual winter comes around. Obviously I made this in March and the weather wasn't really cold enough then to actually wear it out, but when I have worn it I felt so cool wearing it, and it's so soft and just the perfect little basic scarf. And I do actually really love these smaller scarves as well because I can just tuck them in quite nicely and they don't take up so much space and I don't feel so suffocated like the other scarf that I made at the start of the year. So moving on to April, I worked on this cable knit jumper, which is the first cable knit project I have ever done, and I love doing this so much. I really enjoyed doing the cables, and this is the yarn that I was talking about as well, which is the same one as the purple vest that I made. It's so nice and soft, but it still has like really nice definition, whereas the leader of the pack yarn is a bit more fuzzy. Yeah, this just came out so nice. It's so lovely and oversized. I probably made the arms a little bit too long, but yeah, I love the colour, I love the fit, and I definitely will be making more cable knits in the future. They really aren't as hard as I thought they would be, and they definitely make a plain project more exciting because I feel like you can tell I work with a lot of colours. I love doing stripes, especially when the silhouette of a project is a bit more basic. I feel like I have to make it more interesting for me because I get bored otherwise. But adding in cables is such a good way to make a good plain project, which is like a nice basic. It's more wearable than something more like creative, but the process of making it isn't as boring because the cables like kept me on my toes, so to say. Then we have this stripy jumper which I made on my knitting machine. I really wanted to make a patchwork project this year, so this is one of them. And this patch here I've actually had for a very long time from a dress that I made before, and this was going to be a sleeve, but I made the sleeve too small, so I was able to repurpose it in this jumper and create even more stripes and even more patchwork panels. I feel like this definitely has the silhouette that I love the most, where it's like a little bit cropped but it's baggy, so the crop isn't so tight, and then some nice long bell sleeves. Again, I haven't really been wearing this because when I made this, what was it, April, the weather was just too warm. I mean, the weather hasn't been great in the UK recently, but it's never been like jumper cold. It's more like a t-shirt and a jacket kind of cold. So yeah, I haven't really had the chance to wear it. I considered selling this because I thought never gonna wear it ever, but I think I'm gonna give myself this autumn to see if I do pick it up, and then I'll see if maybe I'll sell it if I don't get enough wear out of it. But I do really like it. It's nice and colourful, and this is definitely what I mean with I gravitate towards stripes, because making plain panels on my knitting machine, so boring. So boring. Then May was definitely a bit more of a flop month for me. I didn't knit anything. Well, I knit and crocheted some things, but I didn't get any finished projects out of this. Nothing really stuck, and I think it just discouraged me even more. However, I did channel this unproductivity into something more productive, and I ended up making some illustrations. And I've been thinking about making some knit and crochet illustrations to put on some t-shirts, because I really wanted to have like merch that I could wear. I really struggle wearing my own knit and crochet pieces just out of, I don't know, like there's a bit of embarrassment and a bit of like perfectionism, where I feel like whenever I wear something, it's so blatantly obvious that I made it myself, and then it just feels really awkward. It's just something I really am not able to overcome. And then with the weather getting warmer, I was just wearing a lot of like plain white tees, and I thought that was a bit boring. So I was like, let's combine these two issues that I'm having. And I made some of my own knit and crochet inspired graphic tees. This is one of them. This is the Granny Square Designs one, and it has this pattern on the back as well. Like it has all the designs laid out. This is definitely like my favorite one out of the three, and I did actually make them available as well. I'm sure if you've watched my videos, I have spoken about these in some of my previous videos already, but I just thought I'd share this as well, because I guess this does count as something that I made so far in 2024. These are available to buy on my shop. I will link it down below. I am also working on some new designs, which is very exciting, and I'm hoping, I don't want to jinx it, but I'm hoping to make some baby tees available with these designs. I'm just still testing the blanks and just trying to get the fit right, because I'm really funny with the way t-shirts fit. So yeah, still working on that, but I'll keep you updated. And with that, we are already coming to the end of this video. We are now at the end of June, and this is the only project that I made this month, and it is this raglan cardigan. This is the first time again that I knit raglan, and it turned out so cute. It again has all the different stripes. It's oversized, you know the drill, everything that I love I've done with this. Taught myself how to do buttonholes for the first time, very exciting. And yeah, the raglan was so much fun. I can't believe I put off teaching myself to do raglan for so long, because it really wasn't that deep. And yeah, I really love it. I'm glad I could actually share this with you in this video, because I'm going to take it home to Germany with me and give it to my mum for her birthday. I also, just before we finish the video, wanted to go through my list of things I wanted to make in 2024, because I ticked off all the things from that list that I've made so far, and it's actually really impressive. So I've done a cable knit project, a raglan project, a button-up project with the raglan as well. I've done bow closures, I've done more granny squares and more interesting granny squares as well, and I've done a patchwork project. Now, what we have left to do for the rest of the year on that list is more colour work projects, a zip-up project, integrating garter stitch and blanket stitch, teaching myself how to do Tunisian crochet, and doing more lace, knit and crochet projects. So that is maybe what I'll be doing for the rest of the year. I do think it's very cool that I was able to do half of that list by the time I'm like halfway through the year. It's making me feel very optimistic that I'll be able to do the rest for the end of the year as well. And that could be amazing looking back on the year and knowing that sort of the projects that I wanted to do for this year, I was able to do. But yeah, maybe that gives you and me a little bit of a forecast of what's to come in the next 6 months. I do think the rest of my year is probably going to look more like my April and my June, where it's like 1 or 2 projects a month rather than how busy my February was. It's just not very sustainable. I don't want to end up with too many projects that I don't actually end up wearing, and I am really enjoying focusing on my shop and making these graphic tees and offering up the Scoodies and making those for people. So we will see where the year takes me. But as always, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to check out my website, follow me on Instagram if you want to keep updated on all the things to do with the graphic tees, and yeah, I hope I will see you next time.